Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bolt City Podcast. Dave Palais, Josh Palais, and Mario Heron. It's a Tuesday, a couple days after the last Charger game, and guys, there's a lot to talk about today. And of course, we're going to get into playoff stuff. But everyone wants to know, if you're a Charger fan, how quickly can you fix the problems? How quickly do you find a GM? How quickly do you find a head coach? As we do this show, less than 24 hours ago, Jim Harbaugh wins the national championship. You listen to quotes from his family, and they're saying Jim is looking for new adventures. Already done that at Michigan, which means that it looks like Jim's looking to go pro. That's great news if you're a Charger fan, or if you're a fan of another team that thinks you have a chance of getting them. But at the same time, guys, things are starting to fall in place. If you're a Charger fan, of things that you like, one, two is even the GM positions of guys that we said on this show that we said, where would you go first? You'd be crazy not to go to the two teams that have the best records and seem like they never miss in the draft, in the Niners and the Ravens. Well, the Chargers right now seem to be checking off every single box going in the right direction, which is almost shocking because the Chargers seem like they hardly ever do anything right.
Yeah, I asked you the question a couple weeks ago. Would you rather Jim Harbaugh wins the national championship or loses the national championship? And you said it doesn't matter. I think he's going to leave Michigan regardless. I disagreed. I thought if he wins the national championship, he's more likely to take a job in the NFL. Hold on, somebody's calling me right now. Chargers want me to interview for their new head coaching position. Who are they not calling? The Chargers have called every single person on this earth to interview for the next head coaching position, which is great. Check all the boxes. But Jim Harbaugh has to be the number one target. Mike Vrabel today gets fired. I know we're going to talk about this. That is great news for the Chargers as well. That is another guy that you could bring into the office, and he's going to make an immediate impact. Hopefully a team like the Bears scoops him up if they're going to be looking for a coach. But that's great news for the Chargers because it gives you another option.
100% gives you another option, and shout out to Titans for screwing that one up. Good job on you guys. You guys were looking for your franchise quarterback, and you had a franchise head coach, and you decided to dump the head coach. Nice job. Can't wait to find a replacement for that, and you guys suck more. Yeah, the Chargers are calling everyone. I mean, I would like to put my hand up and just say I'm taking my name out of the head coaching search and taking my name out of the position for the Chargers head coach. I believe Josh Palais is doing the same. Dave, we don't know. We'll see what he does. He might just barge in there. But no, it's a good approach by the Chargers. They interviewed Gift today. It's just, I hope with such a talented field of head coaches that there is right now, I just hope they move quick. And it seems like they're doing that right now, Dave. They're moving quick. They're getting it done. But at the same time, when you go on a first date with someone and then you're thinking of someone else, make sure you keep texting that someone else. And that's how I think the Chargers should be handling this right now. Go there, interview the guy, but also keep texting Harbaugh, see how he's doing and make sure he's pretty happy after that championship win.
Yeah, so a couple things going on. As you said, the big news today around the NFL, of course, is the Mike Vrabel deal. Mario, you brought it up. As much as, we don't talk Tennessee Titans football on the show, he's a guy that you like because of a culture situation. I'm not a big fan of going after a guy unless he's an offensive coach, just because of the way it's going. But there are some guys out there, defensive coaches, that you look at and you go, okay, Mike Vrabel's on the block. Well, it looks like everything is headed towards him going back to New England. I mean, everything is set up that way. The Titans, in their situation, they had a new GM last year. They're saying goodbye to Derrick Henry. They're saying goodbye to Vrabel. They're going to basically start all over again and rebrand. And for a Titans team that's never won anything, I don't know what that means. But again, you lose your head coach and think you go in a better direction. The Adams family, the old Bud Adams, now it's run by Amy Adams, is one of the worst run organizations in the NFL. So Vrabel, though, is a guy, Mario, going back to what you said months ago, if his interest wasn't going in New England and New England wasn't interested in him, I would have interest in a guy like that steps into that locker room and changes the culture, because I thought this Charger team for a long time, ever since Staley got there, and I hate to say it, even Mike McCoy and Anthony Lynn, I thought this was a soft organization. I thought the locker room was soft. It just didn't feel like everybody was pulling in the same direction. And when you have a coach that will basically challenge you, physically challenge you, that says a lot. And Mike Vrabel will physically challenge his players. Like, if you put the uniform on and that guy's not wearing a uniform and he still wants to hit you, you aren't taking days off. And I just always thought that the Chargers have been soft for a long time. I'm trying to think I'd say probably Marty Schottenheimer. He wasn't going to hit you, but people were afraid of Marty. He commanded the room. Even with Norv, he didn't command the room. Vrabel would be a guy that would command the room and change things. I just don't know how much that helps. And I think the GM, I guess, will decide what this new roster will look like for the Chargers and who the right guys are. But we all want Harbaugh. All three of us want him. I think Charger fans want him first. But when you think second and third choices, I mean, there's a story out, guys, today that Bill Belichick has let it leak that he does have interest in that job. That if he left the Patriots, he does want that Charger job. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Is he past his prime? Is it like, could he do anything to command the room? And yeah, you get a lot of attention because it's Bill Belichick, but is he really the right guy? Is it Ben Johnson, the OC for the Lions? Is it Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys? I mean, who is the right guy if it's not Harbaugh?
It's Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel has to be the number 2 option out there. You just nailed it. The Chargers haven't had an identity. They haven't had a toughness to them since the Sean Merriman days. I know people were upset with us that we said the last tough guy they had was Ronnie Harrison. I agree with you. Sean Merriman would be a guy I would not want to fight, okay? Hands up. Wouldn't want to fight Sean Merriman. The Chargers haven't had that guy in forever. And if you bring in a guy like Mike Vrabel, he will actually want to kick your ass. And I don't know if I want my coach to kick my ass, but I want to be scared of him. Nick Saban's all of 5'7". When I was there, I was scared of him to death. I'm pretty sure I could kick his ass, but I was scared of him. Mike Vrabel commands the room. The Chargers haven't had that in forever. Whenever Brandon Staley got nervous, he would start doing the downward dog. Do you want that in your head coach? No. The Chargers should have a guy like that brings in that toughness to the team and brings in a certain type of player. The guys like Derrick Henry and Taylor Lewan and Jeffrey Simmons and those guys that play for the Titans would bust their ass for Mike Vrabel because they respected him. They're always going to play harder for him. And then you heard from the Chargers after this last game against the Chiefs, we were a different team these last 3 games. You know, we came together. You guys lost your last 3 games under the Giffer. I'm glad that, you know, you played harder for him, but what does that say about Brandon Staley? He should never be a head coach again, and the Chargers desperately need to bring in a guy like Mike Vrabel or Jim Harbaugh to change this thing around. And real quick, before I kick it off to you, Mario, I want to give kudos to the Washington Commanders. They are doing everything in their power to turn this thing around like that. And the Chargers, I think, are going to be in the same direction, trying to make radical changes. And kudos to the Commanders, though, man. They have seen a problem, and they are addressing it as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think the Washington thing's the new owner syndrome a lot, right? Like the new owner's like, I want this change, I want this, and for us, I want this gone and this added. And they're moving quick, and they know they have to move quick in order to be successful. And they have a lot of smart minds in there. And I'm excited to see what happens with that. When it comes to Vrabel, I mean, he's clearly he might be tied for me for like with Harbaugh with coaches. I think would fit the Chargers the best. I mean, 54-45 as head coach for the Titans, 3 playoff trips in 6 years. And these were his QBs. Marcus Mariota for 25 games. Ryan Tannehill for 67 games. Blaine Gabbert for 8 games. Malik Willis for 11 games. Joshua Dobbs, 2 games. And Will Levis, 9 games. None of those guys are starting quarterbacks in this NFL. None of those guys are even closer, even sniff the underwear of Justin Herbert. What the hell happens when he gets a guy like Justin Herbert coaching? Well, I mean, playing for him. He's going to be a hell of a guy. I mean, hell of a job is what he would do with the Chargers. So I think he's right up there with Harbaugh for a guy I'd want. He does bring that edge as they're talking about, and he's a hot commodity, man. He's a good-looking person at the bar. You got to go up and talk to him. And you got to move quick because there's going to be a lot of people that want to take him out on a date, man. And Dave, it's just I don't know how quickly the Chargers need to move, but I tell you what, like the Commanders with new ownership, if I'm the Commanders and I see Vrabel's up, I'm going, here's my checkbook. You put the number in right there, and then we'll go ahead and we'll pay that for you, Mikey. And we're going to make sure you don't go to Boston. I think that's something the LA Chargers need to do with either Harbaugh or Vrabel. If it's not that, then you get on Ben Johnson's ass and you make sure the Lions get an early exit.
Okay. Okay. A couple things you brought up, just jumping around, because again, things are happening fast. Josh hit it right on the head. Look, going back to Staley, I don't know how much respect I have for a guy when they're handing out team gear and he's always saying the medium's over here. Who had the medium? Hand up. You know, I mean, I look at Vrabel, dude. Vrabel's a big dude, man. You know, played linebacker in the NFL, scored a bunch of touchdowns, even in the Super Bowl, because they always had that trick play where he'd go in and then Brady would find him, and he scored like 3 touchdowns in 3 different Super Bowls. If you ever notice Vrabel, he wears that vest on top of the long sleeve shirt, and he cuts the vest up from the bottom up for more space. I'm like, this is a big dude. Like, he could take it, I think, almost anybody in that locker room outside of Khalil Mack, and even then he would say, let's go. Let's see who's tougher. I kind of dig it. You can say whatever you want. I tell you what else I like about the guy, and I know it's crazy as hell. I mean, somebody said this to us today. We'd literally scoot down on the bar going, I'm not sitting next to this guy. Do you remember a few years ago when he told Titans fans and told the Titans, I would cut my thing off to win a Super Bowl? Remember that?
Yeah.
Josh shaking his head. That's how you reward him? A buddy of mine pointed it out today. He goes, that's how you reward that guy? That's a guy you never fire. That guy literally said he'd cut his junk off to win a Super Bowl. That means it means everything to him to win championships. Mara, you pointed it out. All those quarterbacks are trash. Every single one of those guys. Everybody knew they're handing the ball off. They had a bunch of no names on that roster forever. The entire time he was there. Just a few years ago, the Titans had the best record in the AFC, by the way. They lost to the Bengals. That was the year the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, but they had the best record in the AFC. So he gets a lot out of his players. You get a decent GM working with Vrabel. Not a bad connection. Also, this that you would get from Vrabel over Harbaugh is that Harbaugh is going to want a lot of control. Vrabel isn't that guy. He's just a guy that wants to coach. Give me the best roster I have, and I'll go out and coach. I'm not going to be the guy that shakes up your front office or your family dynamic. I just don't know if he's looking at the Chargers situation. Maybe he would love to say Justin Herbert. And Justin Herbert, to be honest, guys, for every other job, is the key for coaches coming here of guys that you want. Jim Harbaugh is frustrating me a little bit, I'll tell you right now, for the fact what his mom said last night. Jim's going to wait 2 weeks until he makes a decision what he's going to do. 2 weeks is a little too long, right? You just said it. Hey, we're worried about the Lions. You know, if you honestly think Jim's our number one and Ben Johnson's our number two choice if you're the Chargers, you're hoping the Lions knock off the Rams so they're still in the playoffs and you can use the excuse Ben's not seriously looking for a job. But if the Lions lose this weekend to the Rams, hey, it's all hands on deck. Ben Johnson's looking for that job also. So for Jim Harbaugh to say, hey, I'm going to hold everybody basically hostage for 2 weeks while I sit there on vacation and celebrate, it really, slows things up for the Chargers and any other team that might be interested in signing him, because now all of a sudden your number one doesn't come here, and now you're stuck with your number 5, number 6 choice. I mean, damn it, Jim. Let's go. Yesterday was yesterday. What have you done for me today? What's this 2 weeks garbage? Go get your teeth whitened. Christ, you're on TV every day. Go get your teeth whitened. What's going on?
God dang it. Why did you have to say that? You were good up until
ridiculous.
the end.
You were like, killing it until that.
Sorry. I'm like, good looking guy. Everyone in San Diego used to love him when he was here. Jeez, what's going on? Either how many cups of coffee are you drinking or how many heaters are you downing every day? What's going on there?
Anyways, I didn't know Jim Harbaugh and Shohei Ohtani had so much in common. Ohtani just did this a few weeks ago where he took forever to make a decision when he was the number one choice out there. Jim is entitled to take as long as he wants, but I agree with you. He absolutely handcuffs the organization the longer he takes. The Chargers have interviewed, like we just said, 1,000 guys already for that head coaching position, which I love. Check all the boxes. And they brought in Adam Peters from the 49ers, a guy that Mario's talked about before, which would be fantastic as the GM. But if Jim Harbaugh's your coach, who can you actually hire? Can you actually hire any of these people? Because like we said, the Commanders are looking at guys left and right. They look like they're trying to make every decision possible as soon as possible. Bob Myers is another name that they just got. And the Chargers need to make moves fast. One thing that I did think that was going to happen, but didn't, was Mike Vrabel was going to get traded to the Patriots for Bill Belichick. For people that don't know, Bill Belichick loves Nashville. He's actually born in Nashville. He goes to Nashville all the time, has a house there, and everybody knows Mike Vrabel was a great Patriot. I thought that was going to happen. The Titans came out today and said it was too complex to make a trade, so Mike Vrabel gets cut. What do you do if you're the Chargers, though, Mario? Do you bring him in for an interview, and if you really, really like him, do you hire him because you can't wait 2 weeks, or do you want to wait for Jim Harbaugh?
Since I think they're almost one and the same, and one's been in the NFL more recently, and one has been dealing with management that's been trying to take a team in the complete opposite direction of where he was going, I would meet with Vrabel right away and go, look, I'm not going to wait around for Harbaugh. I'm not going to sit here and, wait for him to call me back. I'm going to go, hey, I got this other guy. He's just as good or better. He did better with less talent than I would argue than Harbaugh had when he was in the NFL. I would go ahead and sign Vrabel and go, look, let's move on. Let's keep it going. Let's keep this show on the road. I'm not going to sit around and wait for what Harbaugh is going to do. I'm not going to sit around and go, Harbaugh, because I think that's a little bit of what Harbaugh also wants in a way. I think he likes that he's like this most wanted person ever. And I get it. Celebrate the championship. You deserve it, man. You're the crown champion. You owned college football. Congratulations. That being said, waiting 2 weeks might be 2 weeks too long. You celebrate, you got a day, and then I think it's time to figure out what's going to happen. But, Dave, I don't think they should wait around. Like, if you have Mike Vrabel and there's a common interest, I think you go and make the move because the Pats are going to make that move. Other teams are going to make that move. And, if you ain't first, you're last, as the great Ricky Bobby used to say.
I agree with that. Yeah, I hate to say it. I agree with that statement. It's all right. So if I'm the Chargers, I'm straight out honest. Look, Jim, you're our guy. Okay. And obviously you're probably talking to Jim's reps, but you're our guy. You're the guy that we want. Everyone knows you're the guy that we want. You were part of this Chargers organization as a player. We want to bring you back as the coach. But Jim, the longer you wait means we got to hire a GM first. And we plan on hiring a head coach first, but we aren't going to do that. We're going to go GM first. And the longer you wait means we probably have to go with a different coach. So you got to let us know now. How serious are you about leaving college? Which, all signs show that he's leaving. Two is how serious are you taking the Chargers in your thought process? All signs show that the Chargers are his best option. And the Chargers are really the best option for almost every one of these coaches. If you're Ben Johnson of Detroit, you're thinking the same thing. If I'm leaving Detroit to become a head coach, I get a franchise quarterback. How many guys get that opportunity? It's a better job than almost any job out there. It's a better job than the Commander's job. It's a better job than the Titans job. It's a better job than the Raider job. You sit there and you say, Jim, it's up to you what you want to do, but we need really to start moving by the end of this week. By the end of this week, we better be in negotiations for what's going to happen. And after we sign you, we're going to sit down together and we're going to pick our next GM together. You're going to be involved in the process of hiring our next GM. But if that's not the case, guess what? We're going to go GM first and we're going to go in another direction because he's the only guy that you have to bow down to go coach first, general manager second. Everyone else will be general manager first, coach second.
Yep, that's 100% correct. I'm curious, Mario, to how much of an impact the NIL has to do with college coaches going to the NFL. You saw today that Kirby Smart, which I never thought this would ever happen, is meeting with the Atlanta Falcons. He is the most college coach of all time to me, yet he has interest in the NFL. Who knows if it's actual real interest, but I'm curious if the NIL is making these guys want to jump to the NFL even more. If that's why Jim Harbaugh has even more of an interest to go to the NFL because of NIL.
No, it's a very good point and something I was honestly thinking about today too. And, to kind of go back to, for the people that all watched, that Swap Kings, the miserable, awful documentary that just scratched the surface of the real story there. But there's a key thing that happened when Urban Meyer was like, after he won the national championship, what did I do after we won? I was calling recruits. That's up to a whole nother level now, right? Because you're not even calling recruits, you're calling transfers. You're calling guys on their teams going, hey, here's $750K or whatever it is. Come play here. And I think that's bumped up to a whole nother level. And there's a lot of guys that are probably like, I don't want to do this anymore, man. It's becoming a bidding war. And I don't really want to be part of the bidding. Where in the NFL, it's less like that. It's more just focusing on the schemes. And there's also someone that's majority doing that for you. And I think that's something that a lot of these college guys are going to tend to like. And I agree with you, Kirby Smart in the NFL. Okay, good luck. I think that's going to Matt Rule situation times 1,000. But no, it's something that's enticing, I think, Dave, where it's like, how much would you love or get sick of every single year at the end of the season? Not only do you have to worry about recruits, but you got to worry about this 20-something kid being happy enough to stay, or he's going to go transfer somewhere else because he's going to offer twice the money. And then you kind of have to budget that out. Like that's a whole new headache. Get the Excedrin.
Yeah, the transfer portal has completely changed the game, especially for big time programs. I mean, even Deion Sanders, who you can say whatever you want in Colorado, I don't think it's a big time program, but he says, man, maybe I'm looking at 4 high school kids a year. I'm looking at the transfer portal the entire time. I want guys that are physically ready to play. If you're a coach, you always have to worry about, feelings. And most of these guys got into coaching of, hey, I'm going to coach the guys that are here, the guys whose houses I went in and handpicked and met their parents. Those days are about over. And you look at the amount of money some of these superstars are making. I mean, the Caleb Williams picture that they showed last week, I think we spoke about it on this show just a little bit, but someone told me, I thought that his property was worth somewhere between $13 and $15 million. Someone told me that property in Los Angeles, where Caleb Williams, a college player, was living, over $35 million. I mean, insane. And that's a college guy that when he goes to the NFL next year, and he'll announce it next week, exactly his intentions. Everybody expects him to be in the NFL. He's taken a major pay cut. I mean, a major pay cut to be on a rookie contract for a number of years. And you go, these guys in college make that much more. All right. And while we're at it, let's just stop it. The joke. Somebody give Reggie Bush his trophy back. It's just embarrassing as hell at this point, right? Just give Reggie his trophy back and let's move on, because the amount of money these college players are getting. I think it was Matt Rule in Nebraska that came out 2 weeks ago and said that the average college quarterback will cost you $2 million for your university. If you want a quarterback to win you some games and be decent, that's a $2 million quarterback. That's crazy. I mean, it's just what it is. The game has changed, and Kirby Smart, that story is almost unbelievable because I think Kirby Smart is right up there as one of the best coaches in college football, and he's done a great job at Georgia. But, man, if you're Arthur Blank and you own Home Depot and you own the Atlanta Falcons and you're going, you know what? Kirby Smart might be my guy because he maybe, guess what? He'll sell tickets. He'll sell tickets and get people excited because Atlanta definitely needs a quarterback, and now you get a coach that the entire state should be excited about. I don't know how good of a head coach he'd be in the NFL, but Kirby Smart, man, has had success everywhere he's been. He's a defensive guy, though.
Yeah, he is a defensive guy. He's one of those guys to me that his message gets across well to younger people, but to older guys, they'd be like, stop talking to me with your visor. Like, I'm really getting annoyed of you. I can only think of 2 college coaches that have done well in the NFL. Correct me if I'm wrong. Jim Harbaugh and Pete Carroll recently, right? Those are the only 2 guys that have done that.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do, right? So I think this is an interesting thing. If you're going to get paid more and you don't have to deal with the NIL headache and all the transfer portal stuff, why not jump to the NFL if you have the opportunity? I also want to address one thing that Charger fans have been putting all over social media the last week. And Mark Caitlin, I don't want to hurt your feelings because you're my guy, but I could not care less about Justin Herbert's haircut. Doesn't mean anything to me.
I don't think that's where you're going at all.
No,
I saw you write in the comments. I'll address this on the show. I thought you really had an opinion.
Oh, I do have an opinion. I don't care. Like, I just don't care what his hair looks like. He could have a man bun for all I care, an afro. As long as he wins games, he's not on the field. To me, he means nothing to me. I hope he gets healthy and he's good next season. But I do not care about Justin Herbert's haircut. But that's where the Chargers are right now. We care about people's haircuts because there's nothing else to cheer for. Next season, we're going to be worried about wins and not haircuts.
Mario.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah,
Congrats, dude. I got a haircut today. You don't see me. Like,
which one? Which hair did you cut? I can't tell.
I mean, I got a little trim, a little cleanup. It's a little something slight. But
Really?
yeah. What?
What?
Oh yeah, that too though. That too. A little haircut. Now, question for you guys. So the list of guys that they're interviewing, that the Chargers have interviewing, is there anyone that you're like, I'm a no-go? I'm all set on. Because I got a couple.
All right, let's hear yours first.
Get out of here. All right. Well, first off, Giff, thanks for everything. But head coaching, see you later. I appreciate it. You stepped in. You know, you really riled up the boys and everything. But getting embarrassed by the Raiders on Ash, I mean, that wasn't him, but all his coaching staff. I want everything on the Staley coaching staff gone. If you're on Staley's coaching staff, I want you out. So that includes our boy coming in. Yeah, bye. Gone. I want everyone gone. I want a clean slate. Clean slate. Okay. There's no reason to keep anyone. That includes Kellen Moore. I understand they're going to interview him for the job. Fantastic. As soon as he does that, take his ski card. There's the door, Kellen. Have a good future.
Would Dan Quinn keep Kellen Moore? If Dan Quinn was the head coach, you think he keeps him?
Yeah.
If Dan Quinn gets it, you think he keeps Kellen Moore as the OC?
Yes, because that gets into the next guy that he keeps keeping around. I have no idea why. It's Aaron Glenn, who the weak part of this Detroit defense is. I mean, this Detroit team is the defense. They're 26 in opponents per play, 27th against the pass, second against the run. Congrats. But they're the weak part of the team. I'm all set on him, too. There's a door, buddy. Thanks for your interview. High five on the way out. I want him out. I'm all set on him. Raheem Morris, thank you. Another defensive coordinator for the Rams. Go ahead and kick your butt out the door as well. So all those guys, let's lock the door after they walk out and go, thanks for taking the time. And just like every interview I had when I first graduated college, we'll contact you if you're interested. And you never contact them.
I got the same list as Mario. Literally the same exact people he said. I'm going to add 2 more. Okay. Brandon Brown, the assistant GM for the Giants, that stacked Giants team they built over there. I'm good. Like, what? No. And then Steve Wilkes, a guy that got kicked out of Carolina pretty quick. I know he's with the Chargers, and he was part of that good Chargers team, but not interested in there either.
Got kicked out of the Cardinals too. All right, so
Cardinals. Yeah, excuse me.
So let's got to address how this Rooney Rule works and why it's there. Now, Mike Tomlin was a guy that wasn't supposed to be up to actually get the job. He was part of the Rooney Rule that worked out. They brought him and knocked everybody's socks off. All of a sudden, they go, "You're our guy." I think it was supposed to be like Russ Grimm was supposed to be the guy, and all of a sudden it's Mike Tomlin. And what's his face? The guy that used to be the head coach of the Cardinals was an OC for the Chargers. Was another guy that was supposed to get that job at the Steelers, but Mike Tomlin did a great job. But the Chargers don't fall in that category. These teams that never look in that direction, they don't. I mean, Anthony Lynn was head coach before Staley, so it's. I feel bad for the guys that are going in for a fake interview, but that's what's going in. Those guys on that list, unfortunately, Raheem Morris, Steve Wilkes, Aaron Glenn, they're just there to satisfy the Rooney Rule. It's pretty sad.
I'm kind of for Steve Wilkes, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
Why would you say that?
For
yeah. The way time's the charm.
The way, I mean, dude, the way he ended with the Panthers, like I liked how he ended with the Panthers. Yeah, got them going. A lot of the guys wanted him back. He's done a really good job with San Francisco. Now I know everyone can with that defense. It's that talented. But he's under Shanahan now. Like, I'm not against Wilkes. I'm really not. I'm pretty for Wilkes, if we're being completely honest with you. Like, I'm not against him at all.
I'm telling you right now. All right, I'll mark it down. Mark the 2654 of this broadcast. If they hires Chargers Steve Wilkes, if the Chargers hire Steve Wilkes as their new head coach, I will quit the show. Okay. I'm walking off the show. I'm leaving. All right. You got to be kidding me. You bombed in Arizona hot dogs and Carolina. I'll eat the hot dogs and I'm going to shut this computer and then I'm leaving. I'm done. I'm done with this organization if they hire Steve Wilkes. I'm serious.
Mario,
how can you sell that to the fan base?
Mario, haven't we gotten to the point where if they don't hire Mike Vrabel, Jim Harbaugh, or Ben Johnson, you're going to lose your crap? Haven't we gotten to that point?
I'm not saying I would take him over Harbaugh or Vrabel or Ben Johnson. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I wouldn't be like absolutely fear. Like, I don't think it's a terrible hire, is my point. Like, I don't think it's
breaking stuff in my house. I'm literally going to start breaking stuff. That guy named Junior Seau jersey is going to be out on the sidewalk waiting for the garbage guy to take it. I'm done.
I'll throw my poop like a monkey.
I'm seriously, Mario. I can't take it. I'm with Josh on this. This is the time to make a stand.
No, I completely agree. I'm saying if all else goes to crap, I don't think it's that bad of a hire. I would take him over Glenn. I'll take him over Moore, Raheem Morris. I'd take him over all those guys.
Would you take him over Dan Quinn?
That's a good question. Like, maybe. I feel like they're neck and neck for me because I think Dan Quinn's going to be the head coach of Cowboys if Cowboys lose first round.
It's funny you say that. Dave was saying that he's heard that Belichick's interested in that Cowboys job if they fire McCarthy.
Oh my God, please.
Interested in him.
Bill versus Jerry Jones on every decision on this planet would be the funniest and greatest content.
But he already did it. He did it with Bill Parcells.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones has done this before. Dan Quinn, at least, is taking a team to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. God dang, I had nothing against Steve Wilkes. I never hated the guy, but man, I definitely don't want him coaching my team. He's not the guy.
I'm saying fourth option, he's not bad. For fourth option, he's not bad. That's my point. I'm not saying number one, but for fourth option, it's not bad.
We can't have the fourth option. We have the best quarterback out of any team that's looking for a coach. We have the one thing all the teams want.
I'm just preparing for the worst. Preparing for the worst, guys. I'm preparing for the worst.
2024, we don't do that anymore. That was 2023. Yeah. We don't do that anymore around here.
We don't.
All right.
I'm done with eating S sandwiches. I'm done with it. That's all we do is eat S sandwiches around here.
I'm surprised I still got right teeth from getting them kicked in all last year. God dang it.
Now, that being said, now on top of the Cowboys, though, what do you guys think of the Will McCauley? Is it McCauley? Is that how you say his last name? I'm probably say his last name wrong. Will McCauley?
I got it. Hold on. God dang it. I looked at so many names today.
Yeah, I was about to say. Whatever. Cowboys vice president.
McCauley.
Okay. Cowboys vice president of player personnel. If he was getting an interview for the Chargers GM job, I like that hire a lot. If we get him, if they go that way, I wouldn't mind that hire at all. That Cowboys roster, say what you want about the Cowboys. I've, for one, love making fun of the Cowboys. That roster is pretty tight. That roster is pretty damn good. So I wouldn't be opposed to him.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't know who the guy is that puts that together. Stephen Jones is the one that takes credit for it. But it might be McCauley. Might be the guy that does it. But Stephen Jones is the one that takes credit for it.
Yeah, is that a John Spanos, Tom Telesco reverse situation where the owner's son actually does take credit for things? when they go well. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
John Spanos doesn't take credit for things because things don't go well. But Tom Telesco did interview for the Raiders GM job. That's
Take
true,
him.
right? Or did I just dream about that? That actually happened, right?
It's true. Yeah, Raiders have interest in Telesco. We might find out he's a good GM. We would never know. We would never know. Jerry Tillery's like, do not hire that guy.
Yeah. Please don't hire him. I'll lose my job.
That guy hates me.
He's gonna extend Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah,
He's like,
but
let's
wouldn't
keep
that be?
this
What I tell you what, you guys, man, mark this down right now. Telesco ends up going to the Raiders. Khalil Mack's playing for the Raiders next year. Who's going back home?
Doesn't he hate
Even
the
though
Raiders?
his home wasn't in Las Vegas. Yeah, you hate him until you realize, hey, I want to finish my career here. Tell me, Khalil Mack would
what,
like to play
though?
for
What?
Antonio Pierce.
What are you gonna play for?
To win what?
Yeah,
He's only
I'm
has a couple
telling you,
years left. He
I
wants
could
to
see him
win.
finishing
Go
his
over
career with the
500?
Raiders. Mark it. Hey, mark it down. When it happens, you guys are going to go, man, you called it.
all right.
Khalil Mack, back to the Raiders. Antonio Pierce, Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack won't be a Charger, unfortunately. He's going to make $40 million next year. They can't pay
I agree with
$40
that
million.
part. There's no way he goes to the Raiders. He hates the Raiders. He hates the Raiders.
Yeah,
There's
Josh
no
is
way.
right. He ain't going
It's
to
like
the
when you want to, like, if a girl wanted to be popular and she, sleeps with somebody that's like a C-list celebrity, it's like, what does that do? Doesn't do anything. You're not going to be popular after that. He's going to screw his way right to the middle if he goes to the Raiders.
I think Bills is like the spot that they would. They did it with Von Miller. I don't get why they wouldn't do it with Mac. They'd throw some trade, throw some picks.
Von
I think
Miller's
that's
so
the dumb
done.
option.
I stand by it. Khalil
Yeah.
Mack's going to be a Raider.
All right,
He's
have
going
fun
to
with
the
that one.
Bills. Do you want to bet on that one? Bills.
Yeah, do you want? Yeah, we'll
Bills is
take
a
Bills.
good
You
call.
take Raiders.
Bills is a good call. Bills is a good
Yeah.
call.
We're
All
educated.
right. I'd say it's going to be a Raider.
2 college degrees right here.
What the
Bachelor's.
hell's that supposed to mean? I graduated. What
Yep.
are you talking about?
Not from a premier school like Alabama and DePaul University. Tell you that much.
San Diego State, baby. I don't know how the hell you all of a sudden you attacked my education, but that's okay. All right, we'll see how it goes. And again, there are a bunch of names supposed to be jumping all over the place. We'll see how quickly it happens. Again, I do want to see Detroit go out quickly. I just want to see what happens when names start going, because Ben Johnson is, I think, the NFL assistant coach that is the guy that people want, right? Everyone wants that offensive guy. There's a lot of weapons in Detroit, but I think Ben Johnson's a guy that everybody has at the top of their list outside of a guy like Jim Harbaugh. And I think most NFL teams know that you aren't getting Harbaugh. I think the Falcons know you aren't getting him. I think the Patriots know you aren't getting him. The Titans know you aren't getting him. It's the Chargers. I mean, the story that came out during the week of the Rose Bowl that his wife was looking at real estate in Los Angeles, going, okay, is that a good sign? Feels like
They
a good
love
sign.
California. They love
Yep.
California. And also the people have spoken. They want you guys to eat hot dogs after the first round of the playoffs. So
Yeah, I've caught that.
You saw
Sorry,
that?
So yeah. Shout out to everyone that commented. So it's me versus you, Davey boy.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I just cramped.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I got you
Karma.
water today.
Karma.
So is it hot dog with the bun, or is it just a hot dog?
No, without
How
the
would
bun. Mario's on a strict
Without the
diet.
bun?
I can't eat it. I can't. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the way I figured out the math is this. It's probably about 10 hot dogs. I can't eat 10 hot dogs with a bun, but I could go 10 without the bun every 5 minutes.
Let's just say if I lose this, that I'm going to be a little slow during that show. If I lose,
I don't
Yeah.
know, because he's trying to drag it out. He wants to
expand my
filibuster
palate.
it. That's fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's fine. You're gonna sit there and call your shot. Don't think I'm not doing the same thing when you're the one sucking those down.
whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All
When we
right.
have the hour and a half, when we have an
Transition.
hour and a half, we have an hour and a half show. We got 90 minutes to eat hot dogs. Don't think I'm gonna go on another thing.
I'm the one
I
that presses
go-
record and
as I
stops
go-
recording. Remember
Yeah.
that.
I'm the guy that
I
says
do-
goodbye. I'm the guy that says goodbye on the show. All I know is this, man. When I start reading the Cincinnati Bengals opponents for next year, I go, let's check out the rest of the division. And then I start going through all 32 teams for 2024. You might pass out.
I'm going
You
to
might
play a
pass
game
out.
with Josh, and we're going to guess every Chargers college until we get it right. So we're going to get stuck on someone, and it's going to be like Moorhead State. It's going to take an hour.
Oh gosh.
All right, Mario, I
It's
got a
gonna be
question
bad.
for you. I asked Dave this yesterday. All right. No
Okay.
prep, right? All right. Who are the Chargers' 5 wins this season? Don't look at anything right off the top of your head.
Raiders. Dude, my mind just went blank as soon as you
Yeah, it
asked me
happened to
that.
me too for a second. I
Yeah.
got it.
So
Just took me
it's
a little bit longer.
Bears. So it's Bears, Raiders, swept Broncos, swept by Chiefs, lost to the Titans. Talking out loud here. Now I'm like really blanking. I don't know why I'm really blanking. Yeah, it's really sad, and this has really hurt my credibility as someone that works
No,
for.
it's not that.
Lost
I did the
to
same thing.
the
Took me a little bit
yeah,
longer than I thought.
lost to the
I should have been
Lions,
able to,
lost to the Cowboys,
yeah, should have
beat the
been able to yell it out
Jets.
in 30 seconds.
Beat the
Jets.
Jets.
Yeah,
Nice.
beat the Jets. Did not play the Giants. Lost to the Titans. Did not play the Browns. Dude, don't tell me. I'm gonna get so freaking upset. Did not Seattle, Houston. Can you start giving me some hints here? Give me a
Oh,
hint.
Yeah. Think
Game
of the
3.
divisions they
Game
played
3.
this year.
Game 3. They won in game 3.
God, this is as soon as why all right. Not the Commanders, Buffalo Bills, no. Patriots.
Yes.
Patriots.
One more. You got one
Yeah.
more.
Yep. You're still missing game 3.
All right.
Mike Williams
Thanks,
last
Dave.
game.
Yeah, Keenan Allen,
Mike,
big game for Keenan Allen.
Mike Williams last game. Keenan Allen, big game. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, no. Falcons,
Just naming
no.
guys not even on the schedule.
Dude, it's how dude, can you let my brain work? It's called ADHD.
Mississippi
Vikings.
State. No. Vikings. You're right.
Vikings.
Yeah.
Nice.
Bang. Got it. Credibility.
That was good.
Yeah. That's literally how my thinking works too, by the way. And anything. It just start naming stuff out loud in the head until something comes up.
Oh my gosh, that's too damn funny. That's too damn funny. All right. So look, as far as the way the Chargers go, different news. How soon do you think it is before the Chargers announce the hiring of a new head coach? How long are we waiting? It's January 9th as we do the show right now.
Before
I
the
think
Super
by
Bowl.
this time next week we know who the coach is.
Before the Super Bowl. It better be before the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is more than a month away.
Really? I didn't want to know that. Yeah, we should know. We should know. All right,
We better
I
know.
would say 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks to think there's a press conference. They announce a new head coach.
Yeah. One thing I'm scared about with this Harbaugh thing before we move on, I'm sorry, is notice how Harbaugh says it's 2 weeks, and notice how there's another team that's really taking their time with what they're going to do at head coach. That's Chicago, and that's starting. And like, if I'm a Charger fan, I would just monitor that a little bit because something tells me as soon as Harbaugh says, "Hey, I'm free," and if Chargers already have a guy, then Chicago's going to go, "Flus, pack your crap up, get the hell out of here." It's going to be the paintball gun with Ari Gold and entourage. You're fired. That's what they're going to do. So I just monitor that one a little bit.
I could see Vrabel going to Chicago. He looks like the most Chicago coach ever, right? Like the
Dude, he
modern
would
day
live
Mike
at
Ditka.
Portillo's. Yeah. Oh yeah. He would rock the
You like
Ditka.
that?
Yeah, he'd be a modern day Ditka. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good fit. That's a good fit. I don't
Yeah.
think Harbaugh goes to the Bears. I just don't. I mean, unless you sit there and you're saying, "Hey, look, you choose what you want to do at the quarterback situation." I don't think Fields. My guess, Mario. I don't think Fields is staying. I think it
I don't
almost
think so
makes
either.
more sense. I think it makes more sense for the Bears to get someone else on a rookie contract. And I think if it's Caleb Williams or whoever else they're looking at, but is Fields really worth taking a chance of saying we're going to pay you $50 million a year? Is it worth it?
Exactly.
I mean, you got to
And
make
that-
that decision.
I'm
You
sorry.
think he's going back to Atlanta? Fields,
yeah.
where he's from?
Or
You
Raiders.
think he's going to the Falcons? Raiders. Ooh. Okay.
One of the two.
Didn't
And think about if that GM gets, let's say, Poles drafts a new QB, that's a new slate of 3 to 4 years with the rookie QB contract. That's pretty friendly towards your team that you can play with. And that means, hey, I got an extra job for 3 years. Family, let's stay here.
He
We
has
have
to draft
schools.
Caleb Williams, right?
Has to.
You have to
Yeah,
if you're Ryan
has to.
Poles to save your
Has
job.
to.
Because if it doesn't work out with the other guy, then you're screwed. You get fired.
Yeah.
Just like I don't think the Chargers, any way any team passes up on Marvin Harrison Jr., where he
Yeah.
goes to 5. I just don't see any scenario where the Chargers get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Kind of like the Trevor Lawrence thing. where it was like you had to take Lawrence. Like there was no arguing taking any other QB or any other guy. You know?
You have to. That's what the guy from Mike Mayock, right, got fired from the Raiders because he drafted Cleveland Farrell with the 4th pick because he tried to be different. Found his way right to the unemployment line.
I still remember him bragging on TV. We're about to shock the world. You sure did. You sure did. You drafted a guy that everyone was like, I'm not sure this guy's a first-round pick. Yep, you sure did.
He ended up
Like
being the 3rd best defensive lineman from that Clemson team, and he was drafted first ahead of Christian Watkins, which is or what is it, Watkins? I'm having a blank. Wilkins. Jeez. Christian Wilkins, who's an all-pro, and then Dexter Lawrence, who's also an all-pro. Cleveland Farrell, number 1 pick. Makes no sense.
No sense. Still favorite pick in all of sports. Number 1 pick, Anthony Bennett. He's projected like 10. Cleveland Cavaliers. Take that. You see Bill Simmons literally in shock. And they're like, Bill, what do you have to say? What the hell just happened? Good stuff, Bill. Let's go to the 2nd pick of the draft.
No, man, the drafts are something else, man. That's too funny. That's a good story. Okay, just again, because the Bears have the number 1 overall pick, Chargers pick 5. As we sit and try and break things down, I think the Bears move on from Fields. They take a quarterback, number 1, and then as we say, I think the Bears keep their head coach, Mario. You know, as far as how that affects the Chargers, but I think they keep their head coach. I don't think they make a move there. I think they go Caleb Williams and they keep their coach.
Yeah, it's really weird right now because they haven't done anything. Like, it's like, are you fired or are you not fired? I'm with you now. I think they're going to keep him. Sadly, I think it's stupid, though. I think it's so incredibly stupid. At least fire Getsy's ass. At least take that offensive coordinator and boot him to the moon. That guy's a freaking moron who's obsessed with screen passes that don't freaking work. And I guarantee you, if they keep him next year, we're going to go, wow, it's so frustrating. His offense sucks. Then week 4, he goes, hey, let's actually start playing to the QB's benefits. And holy hell, can Chicago figure out what's going on? Because that's like the 4th ambulance of today. So I don't know what's happening. Let's get that in order. Not a politics guy, but someone's got to figure that out.
Do you live at a hospital? Why is it so loud?
Dude, it's always like that. It was like, I swear to you, dude, every single day. I don't know what goes on here, but there's always something going on.
Dude, good Lord. I wasn't going to say anything to make you not feel bad, but that was so loud.
Yeah.
I forgot what you said that was so loud.
Yeah,
but I
was
agree
really
with whatever you did say. You sounded good there.
Yeah, the 2 cities like that, Mario, are Chicago and Baltimore. Like it's
That's good.
It's nuts, man. Right? It's crazy, man. The amount
Dude,
of
I stayed in
shootings-
Baltimore once. I felt like I was in Gotham. It was bad. It was really bad. There's drag racing. It was scary,
in the middle of the night.
Dude.
Yeah.
Did you ever
The
watch the
shootings
show
insane.
Besides the Wire, We Own This City about Baltimore?
No.
Very, very, very good show. It's based on a true story. Really, really changes your perspective on what you think of that city. If it's not already pretty low, it will make it 10 times lower.
Hearing those sirens throughout the show reminds me. This is before you were even born, Mario. When the Miami Heat and the Orlando Magic hated each other, and the two GMs would talk trash to each other. The Miami GM said, if it wasn't for the bowling alleys in Orlando, that city would have no culture whatsoever. And then the Orlando GM fired back with, I hear crime is down in Miami. They've run out of victims. So every time I hear those goddamn sirens, I'm like, when are they going to run out of victims, man? There's always sirens going off this entire show. It's crazy. Do you live in a hospital, Mark? Josh's line was a good line.
If you have, I recommend anyone getting it. I guess free plug here, but like Citizens app, it's a good app where I don't know if you guys have it, where it tells you like crime that's going on and stuff like that. Dude, I had to put like a limit on it. Like I got so many notifications, and it's like, God, that's going on right now. Like I remember I walked out of the grocery store. I'm not kidding you. I walked out of the grocery store and I got a notification that it's getting robbed. And then a guy like just was booking it behind me. I was like, dude, what the hell? I was like, this is crazy. Just life in a big city, I guess.
All right, here we go. We'll be back in a couple days. Of course, we'll have more news for you, but we're going to break down what's going on up in the playoffs. I know the Chargers aren't in it, but I tell you, I'm always excited about postseason football. There's some great storylines. Tyreek Hill going back home, or I should say, to where he started in KC. At the same time, Matthew Stafford going back to Detroit. There are a bunch of different games, obviously, to break down. This is the most important week that we pick games. Could be the difference of eating a ton of hot dogs or someone ends up in a hospital. So we'll of course discuss it. We'll break down the odds. Josh, are you even picking the games with us this week, or does it even matter?
Probably not. It's more fun if you guys just do it.
You should keep track so that way we're not getting little fake numbers from you or me.
I'll keep track. This week.
That's smart.
Okay.
Because
All right,
I would
gotcha.
spew it. I'm not hand up. I would make sure you
Really?
lose.
You would cheat over a hot dog? That's the
Yeah,
saddest thing I ever
100%.
heard.
I would cheat over
All right.
anything to win. Yeah.
Respect that. Okay, that's good. Respect that. All right, we're gonna be back in a couple days. Again, you can leave your comments right there on YouTube. If you listen to the show through the Odyssey app, Bolt City Podcast, we appreciate it. But we'll be back in 2 days and we'll go through all the playoff matchups. Hopefully, I have more news for you on what direction the Chargers are going as far as general manager and head coach. So for Mario Heron, Josh Palais, I'm Dave Palais. We'll see you in a couple days.